Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Moviecast, episode 496. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gast, joined by Mike Sneedy, Corey Feinsod,
Yo,
and Tony Korkanakis.
hello.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers, to episode 496 of the Moviecast. Whew. All right, we are climbing up there to 500. We got to figure out something to do. We're going to be definitely pulling in some clips from the old episodes. I think we're going to try to come up with like some of our favorite moments and talk about those. I do believe we probably should try to play some games online too. So we'll have to figure that out. I mean, we're all in isolation. Obviously, we can't really get together in a room and play like we did before. But you know, that could be good though, because we could stream some fun stuff. Maybe we can play something multiplayer-ish. I don't know. That we all kind of enjoy playing. So we'll figure that out. But anyways, Moviecast, guys, getting into what we've been up to kick off the call, because we can't really do the box office. It's so weird not doing the box office right now.
Has it been though?
I don't know. I mean, there's just nothing going on.
It's been
for
like 2 months.
I know. It's so weird. I was trying to think, like, man, what can we do to save like AMC's? Like, what can AMC do to like come back? And it's just like, I was brainstorming stuff like, what if they included a digital copy of the movie with a purchase of your ticket?
How could they do that?
Because they own their own streaming service now.
Yeah, they need to pay for that, dude.
Sure, yes, but that's what I'm saying. So the prices may go to like $25 a movie, but you see the movie and you own it when you get out.
You think that's gonna increase revenue by increasing ticket prices?
Sure, I think you could if you make it more incentives based.
No one cares about that.
Dude, weren't you like criticizing Netflix being too expensive for like $16, $17 a month?
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm going to movies to see like every movie.
I'm not saying I would do it. I'm not saying I would do it.
I think the problem with that, Jim, is just that people are lazy by nature, and if they're just gonna get digitally, they're not gonna bother going out.
I'm not saying you get it digitally right at the day. I would say you go to the movies to watch it. You get to see the movie in the theater, and you own the movie when you leave when it comes out eventually on, for purchase. Like they give it to you, the digital copy, because you bought it. You bought the ticket through them.
Mm.
So yeah, it would be a little more, but they've done that before. They used to do that with digital copies. If you remember, I used to pay like $5 more to get the digital copy in the movie. So I don't know. Just thought about some more incentives. Not that we're gonna get people to go out anyways right now, because there's all this virus stuff going on. So let's get into what we've been watching. I am on the finale of Castlevania, so I haven't finished it yet. I started the episode and I got interrupted with work. Sorry, it's my fault. I meant to have it done today. I really did. What ended up happening was I went down the rabbit hole of the Tiger King. God, that show's terrible. That's just a god-awful show.
Watch that shit over Castlevania.
I only watched 2 episodes of it, and I'm not done.
How
I'm done
long
with
is
it.
that?
It's in 2 hours.
Sounds like 2 episodes too many.
Mm-hmm. I'm done with it if it makes you feel any better. So my show watching time did not really kick in until after I finished Final Fantasy VII. That was like my drive this, and I finished it before, on the weekend. But I then watched the Tiger King 2 episodes. I've watched some Harley Quinn stuff, Castlevania, a couple more episodes of that, and what else? Oh, I watched The Community. I started watching The Community. That's what happened. So I am a few episodes into The Community, and I love the show, but I hate Joe McHale, and he's like the main character. So it's like,
I can't watch this show because of him. I hate that man.
I can't stand him. So every time I see him, it makes my stomach hurt. And
Why are you even watching this show?
Because the show is
it's a
really
Joel
good.
McHale vehicle. If you don't like Joel McHale, why are you watching Community?
Because I like the sub characters that are in it. I like all the other characters in this. I like all of the characters actually.
It's a losing battle.
Yeah, I know. So, but I tried. I really did try. I also watched the Josh Gad has a he's kind of doing what John Krasinski does with like the good news stuff, but he's getting like casts together for reunions. So he had last week he had the Goonies reunion, and this week he did Back to the Future, and oh man, I watched that. It was awesome to watch that. It was a half an hour long. Michael J. Fox does it. Christopher Lloyd, Elizabeth Shue is on it. It's got everybody there, but Crispin Glover, because of obvious reasons. So yeah, I just love that. It was excellent. They read lines in character from them, like they actually try to read the lines. And I'll tell you
some scenes, yeah.
Yeah, Michael J. Fox. I know he's sick. I guess it's Parkinson's, and it sucks to see that. It really does. But he did a good job. He did a really good job reading his lines. He still got Marty McFly down. Like
Still got it. No?
Still got it. And I was like, I even messaged my brother this morning about it. I'm like, did you see that shit? And he's like, yeah, watch it. Yeah. And he's like, I told Matt, I'm like, he still got it. Matt's like, yeah, he still got it. I'm like, he may have rushed a little bit, and I think that's because of the Parkinson's. I think he now rushes some stuff because he stutters more because of it, and it's sad, so he kind of talks a little quick sometimes. But on those deliveries for that character, he just like, it was back on spot. Like it was like not rushed. I was like, wow, he just dove into that character perfectly.
That is one thing I've noticed with this COVID stuff is that there have been a lot of like reunions and meetups that on video. Like Chuck had one where they did a full episode, a table read of a full episode.
I would love to watch that.
Parks and Rec had the
Parks Rec did it.
Yeah, Parks and Rec.
Office just did something.
I saw The Office. They reenacted their wedding, the wedding song from The Office.
So it's like that's pretty neat that people are now that they have time to do things, and with the technology that we have, we can kind of do these virtual table readings and meetups and reunions. It's pretty neat.
Wow.
Ninja Turtles is doing a thing, I think, later this month for their 30th anniversary. Similar. The movie, the 90s movie. At least, what's her name? Is that Judith Hogue? The first April O'Neil. She's like the main person.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So I don't want to interrupt what we've been up to real quick, but I got some sad breaking news. The Batman, the animated series writer, Martin Pasco, died today. It's unfortunately passed away at 65 years old due to natural causes, they said. But it's sad. I'm sorry. I just got that message to me.
He wrote the Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah, fantastic writer, obviously. Worked on animated series for a while, Mask of the Phantasm in the 90s. He even started writing comics for Superman titles in the early 1970s. It's sad, but sorry, that's sad. All right, continuing what we've been up to, Mike. What have you been watching?
So I've continued Young Justice, another episode in that. I think I should have rewatched stuff beforehand because I'm so lost. I forgot that there's like 3 different clones of like Roy Harper or something.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, wow.
I forgot about that. I forgot about that until I saw it. I'm like, oh yeah, now I remember this. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, but it's okay. I see it picking up. I see it's going somewhere. Although, again, I'm sort of misremembering like where certain things happened because I'm sort of like in my mind grouping a lot of this with the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited like storylines. So I'm like, Vandal Savage, did they like encounter him yet or not? Like I don't even know but whatever. I'll just keep going with it. It's too late now. There's no going back. And also we rented Sonic the Hedgehog and saw that.
Oh, nice.
So I saw it finally. It's pretty good. It's not great. It's not bad. It's pretty good.
I think Jim Carrey was excellent. I really like Jim Carrey in it.
And he was fun. I was actually surprised that he was like somewhat competent because normally, like, I don't know, they make Dr. Robotnik or Eggman like an idiot. He's supposed to be really smart, but
I would say he's borderline in this. Even though as smart as he is, he's still like a borderline. He's just not. He doesn't have any street smarts whatsoever.
He's not a sociable person, which is the downfall of many smart people.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I was worried they would make Sonic like a little bit too much like a kid. I mean, and he is like a kid, but I always sort of viewed him as almost having like a tragic flaw of arrogance, and it's not there in this yet, but there's hints of it. So I don't know. I want to see more of that, obviously, and I totally get the criticisms of wanting to see more of his home world and less of him in the normal world, but because it was basically an alien, like an ET type alien.
Fish out of water.
Yeah, fish out of water movie, but it was fun. It was good.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I got to see that.
Cool. Yeah, no, it was good. I hope they make a sequel. And I think I even said, like, when I saw it, like, it's worth going to see alone for what I would consider a classic Jim Carrey, like, where he's just doing more the comedic, funny stuff.
He was definitely more of his old self there, channeling some Ace Ventura kind of stuff.
Right, exactly. So
some goofiness. So it was really nice to see that. I'd like to see him come back to more of that comedy again, but who knows? But all right, Tony.
What have I watched? Unfortunately, I did not watch Arrival this weekend. Lied about that. Just didn't find like a 2.5 hour chunk in one go.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe this weekend.
It's fair. It's tough too.
I did. The other thing too is like I gotta be in the mood for like an alien thing. I can't be like, oh, I'm just gonna put this on and watch and whatever happens. So yeah, I gotta be like atmospheric with it and so yeah. But I did watch this series on Netflix, this anime series called High Score Girl.
Okay.
Or did you ever watch? I know sometimes you watch it.
I saw it.
You guys really got to check out this anime. So the premise is it takes place in like our real world in the 90s. And it's about this middle school boy who's at his local arcade racking up a win streak in Street Fighter 2. Original Street Fighter 2. And like it's not like Street Brawler 2 or something. Like it's actually Street Fighter 2. They actually have clips of like people playing like the game, like the characters playing the game in the universe and stuff like that. And he's about to like get like some ridiculous score when all of a sudden he gets beaten. And he's like, "What the hell? Like who beat me?" And he looks over and it's this girl that's from his class. And he's just like, "That doesn't make sense." He's like, and then he gets even more pissed off because he's like, "This is like the number one person in his class. He doesn't have good grades. He doesn't have good looks, this, that, or anything." He's like, "This is the only thing I have." And she just took this away from me. So they start this like rivalry because he doesn't understand it and stuff like that. And long story short, they like start to play games together and stuff like that. But it's just this nostalgia trip because they play more than Street Fighter 2. They play like Golden Axe, Ghouls and Ghosts get some reference, a bunch of Sega games. They even actually talk about magazines. They're like, "Oh, at the end of the year, Sega Saturn and Sony PlayStation are coming out. Which one are you going to get?" This, that, and the other thing. So it's just like this huge nostalgia trip. All these games being played in the show. I don't know how they got the rights to it. I think it was produced by Square Enix, so I'm sure they had like a lot of their library to build. But like Street Fighter 2 is so much in this. Like it's crazy because like small spoiler, it's not like story bits or anything like that. But Guile is his character in the game, and like the knowledge of the game is actually pretty intense because like he winds up beating her the one round because all he does is use like the classic Guile like turtle strategy where he's like you hold down and back and it's like, oh, if they jump in you use flash kick and if they don't do anything you just use sonic boom. But throughout the series, whenever he's having like this inner monologue of like, oh, what should I do, this and the other thing, it's not like himself talking to himself, it's himself talking to Guile, like just straight up Guile, and he's like, young boy, like, this other thing, he's like whatever. But it's been a real trip. I only meant to watch like 2 episodes last night, and I think I wanted like watching like 6 or 7.
Wow.
But it's just crazy to watch this whole like thing about classic arcade video games and stuff like that. So would definitely recommend that at some point. But yeah, it's been for me.
Cool. It's fun.
Right. Corey?
I actually was watching an anime. I started watching Vineland Saga
Nice.
Vineland, whatever it's called, which is that Norse or Vikings anime.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good so far. Very brutal initially, and then it follows a guy who kind of is this fantastic, like the best warrior ever kind of thing, and then he gets sick of the killing, so he like deserts his army and tries to live a simple life, and then has to get pulled back into the fray. But this is kind of a prequel to the manga. I think it takes place before it, I believe.
Okay. That's interesting.
So like I think because the manga's about his son, which is in this anime, and I think I haven't gotten too far into it, but I'm assuming you kind of start following him at some point. But it's good. Animation's great, so looking forward to continuing that. Also kept watching that Psych show, and it's the main character is really hard to like, and that's tough. I mean, because
that was the hardest part with that show. Remember?
Yeah, just he's such a like. I don't know what his other than him being like super observant, like and like just knowing so much. For someone who's so smart, he's like the stupidest person that you can come across on the show, and it's so weird because then he has this relationship with one of the other characters, and you're just like wondering the whole time, like, what does this person see in this guy? Like, he is such a juvenile, like, delinquent essentially. So I don't know. I'm confused as to how because it's so popular. It got a movie, like, and it's getting a sequel to the movie. It's so weird. And it had 8 seasons, but it's still a good show, which is weird. It's just the main character is hard to like. So there's that. But yeah, other than that, pretty much it.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into some news. Let's see what we got here kicking off. There's a lot of Disney Plus news this week. I'm in the games section. Hang on. So we got some news about, well, just recently today, a couple Mandalorian things actually. Today, breaking almost, was the fact that season 2 Mandalorian has cast it's Bo-Katan from, if you remember, from Clone Wars,
Yeah.
which was voiced by Katie Sackhoff, right? And now she's going to be actually starring in the show,
right?
The Disney Plus show. So she's going to actually star as
her role
as
the character
as Bo-Katan.
See
that, Mike, man, you got to watch Clone Wars.
At some point.
Dude, it's on for years, man. Years.
There's so much, like, you can see how much influence this show's going. With Dave Filoni working on it, you can see that it's going to draw so much inspiration from.
Filoni is going to be the future of Star Wars. I guarantee it at this point.
Yeah.
Could he be
that Kevin Feige?
That's what I was gonna say. Is he gonna be the Feige? Let's see. Maybe
We'll see.
you gotta get that singular vision kind of people just supporting that.
That's a link about. He had this I forget. There's a Twitter thread on it, but he breaks down and talks about Duel of the Fates for 6 minutes and how that's like one of the most important scenes in all of the Star Wars saga and like lore and stuff like that. And I was just like, I mean, whatever. Like, I don't look fondly back on the original prequel trilogy, but his arguments, I was like, you know what? I can see that point of view. Like, you know what? I mean, okay, like.
Just taking that scene out of context, it's a really cool scene, but how important is it? And the movie's so bad around it. It's like, but yeah, if you can get somebody who's passionate about it and can really argue for it, that's pretty interesting.
He has some great new ideas to bring, and this is, I mean, he brings in good characters, like he really does, and so I'm really happy that he's working on this, and
it makes sense, this character that's coming in, because this show is called The Mandalorian,
and we had the Darksaber already, so
yes. Right?
Yeah.
So it all kind of ties in well, and that's really, I find it really cool that they're bringing Katie Sackhoff in.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That wasn't it. There was more.
No, that wasn't it. There is more. Also, Tamara Morrison, who plays Boba Fett from the prequels, is going.
He doesn't play Boba.
Django.
He plays. I'm sorry, Jango Fett. Yes, in the prequels. Obviously, it's a clone.
What kind of fan are you, Jim? You think you're the biggest Star Wars fan on this podcast?
Yeah. He's
handing your card.
He does play Boba Fett now because Boba Fett is a clone of him. So yes, it does still play out. They are the same person. So yes, though he's reprising his role to play Boba Fett in the Disney Plus Mandalorian season 2. So that is confirmed. We're getting. So is that the one episode where the guy, the shadowy figure we didn't see, does that Boba Fett, you guys think?
That was the theory a lot of people are having, but
I mean that'd make it more interesting, maybe. I don't know. It was always
Django wasn't even a Mandalorian, right?
No, that's what the rumor is, and I still don't think Boba Fett's a Mandalorian. I think that they can still have him in this, and I think we can put that to rest finally with this. So, am I chopping up?
For me.
Sorry.
For me, you are.
But yeah, it's just I think that people are clamoring for. I just hope that it's not fan influence that's causing this. Like, I want people to have their vision, their story, and be able to tell it without influencing, without oh, we have to pull this person in or have to pull this person in because the fans are demanding it. That's what I don't want, because that's what happened in the last movie. I mean, the last movie was just checking the list off of making sure everything that the fans wanted got in there, and you didn't have a good story.
Skywalker, gotta get that in there. Emperor Palpatine, gotta get him in there.
Yeah. So
gotta go back to Tatooine one last time.
I thought it was cool that the Ahsoka thing was kind of mentioned, but as more and more characters coming back, it's just I just hope it's not for hey, let's do this for the fans that want to see this, instead of well, this serves the story. It makes sense.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like Filoni's done a good job of integrating those characters in the Clone Wars and making them better. So it's I really think he can actually give a personality that will end up, obviously not that he's going to be a villain or something, Boba Fett, but something that we'll like as I think he can, because we have nothing from Boba Fett right now, just books, comic books, and we don't have because we have hardly any character from the two movies he was in, slash the kid version of him, which was not counting as well. So we don't have much based on him, and I think we can actually build a good character. And like I said, I actually enjoy. Katie Sackhoff's a great actress. I think she's awesome to have as this part, so I'm psyched to see that. So. To
me, seeing Mandalorian, Boba Fett makes more sense showing up than any of these
sure.
Jedi characters. Like I'm more uneasy about actual Force wielders showing up like right away.
But we have that
in the next season more than Boba Fett, which makes perfect sense to me because I want to see why he's like a fake Mandalorian or and as like the Mandalorian, like this would be a good way to almost get like, although this is after the fact. This
is after Jedi, so how did you survive, that kind of thing? Yeah,
but you just kind of want to know like where he got all this stuff from, why he is what he is, why he has a reputation that seems somewhat unwarranted. But like I don't know, I'm a little more worried about the other characters joining this universe because they don't make sense to me as much as Boba Fett would. But again, I haven't watched Wars.
I mean, clearly there's a strategy here with the Darksaber, with the Mandalorians. It's something that if you watch Clone Wars, you get more established story from them, and that's why it kind of ties. That's why I'm saying like that's my push for you to have watched that, because there's a lot of Mandalorian stuff we get story wise in Clone Wars that you don't know. So if you watch that, it gets you more excited, I think, for The Mandalorian, because it's exploring what we've learned already from that. For this is all new from you. All you know is Boba Fett, who's not a Mandalorian from what we know.
The Darksaber means nothing to you.
Yeah.
Meaningless.
And he's not a Mandalorian from what we are understanding of everything we know about Mandalorians. So, he's an imposter from what we get. So, that's what I'm saying. That might be worth checking that out. So, all right, lastly, well, it's not really Mandalorian news, but it's the actor from The Mandalorian, Jake Cannavale, is being eyed for the role of Kirk in Captain Pike series on Star Trek. Captain Pike series, Star Trek Enterprise at CBS. So,
is the Pike guy being played by the same guy from the movie?
He'd be playing the guy. They had Pike being played in Discovery, Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, they did.
He'd be reprising his role in this. Who did an awesome job. He's fantastic in Discovery, so I'm good with that. He's excellent. This guy playing Kirk, I mean, that's interesting. A new Kirk, finally. I mean,
finally.
It's all parallel. Recently. It's all parallel universes, though. Nothing's like this is supposed to be Prime Zero, or they're all doing the multiverse now. So that's what Star Trek's doing. So I don't know. He was in The Mandalorian. If you remember, he's actually from that episode we were just talking about. So he was from the episode. But yeah, so interesting. Not lastly, we have who wants the Dark Knight to be darker?
Everyone.
So Andy Serkis playing Alfred in the new movie, which, by the way, is supposed to focus a lot on Batman and Alfred's relationship. That's kind of what they're going for. But I feel like that's what we got with the Dark Knight, with Chris Nolan's.
We got moments of
Alfred was a pretty big part of it, I thought.
I don't know if he was a big part of it, but there was
some of the most iconic lines, like, he always repeated it. How do we learn to pick ourselves up? You're not going to give up on me. And he says never. He's like, it's a pretty big role.
I mean, I guess he had important parts, but like screen time wise, he wasn't all that present. But
I would assume that the same idea for this, though. They're just going to have important parts for Andy Serkis to play as Alfred. But I mean, the statement that the Batman will be darker than previous films, does that concern anybody?
Not really.
No, but I also don't know what that. First of all, I feel like that's.
Does it mean actually darker, or does it mean
tonally darker?
Tone darker.
Yeah, I don't know if you can get too much darker than like the Dark Knight, as far as.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, sure you could. I mean, you could have more important people die, maybe, or focus on pain a little more.
Darker. I mean, he just straight up murdered people.
Yeah.
I don't think it, but he wasn't like. I don't know. I don't feel like it's dark. I just feel like it's dumb. Like.
I agree, it's dumb, but still, he was gunning down people with a Batmobile.
But it wasn't like done in a way where like there was any weight to it.
I agree with that. No, again, I agree with that, but
I think the darkness, like for Batman here, is more about not like essentially killing people, but more just
more like
what's happening.
More just about like
Let's
how
focus
twisted,
on death
how
and the
twisted people are, and like how twisted and sad people are. It's more about that. It's less
pain,
about just like
suffering.
something exploding in the background. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what this is going to mean.
I'm excited to see.
Like I said, I already know this guy, Andy Serkis, works well with Matt Reeves. I already know this, so I'm psyched to have him involved in this movie. And
I thought he was great in Black Panther.
Yeah, and he's great in Black Panther, Ulysses S. Claw, and motion capture. He's the man. I mean, that's what he's known for. He's fantastic. He directs now as well, so he has some vision. So I think he can add a lot of input.
I mean, how many of you guys seen Mowgli or whatever?
I don't know, but I'm still saying he does have some director experience and stuff. I don't know. I'm still excited to see this. I just hope it's not. I don't know. I don't know how much darker we need to go with Batman from The Dark Knight.
Do you think they're looking for an R rating here?
No, I don't think you go for that.
There's no way. There's no way Batman's getting an R rating.
You can't do that.
Arkham Knight got an M rating.
That's a video game.
So
I'm just saying it's a video game. No, the 13-year-old boys still buy M-rated games.
And 13-year-old boys still get into R-rated movies. They just need
not
someone
as easily.
You cut I think you cut a lot of your potential. I mean, they've been proving this wrong recently, but I think you do cut a lot of potential dollars out of the box office by making it, especially Batman, rated R, not PG-13.
That's just look at the box office results. I mean,
it's historically not a great idea, and so while there's a few exceptions to that rule, you have to still take you can't.
Most of the exceptions have been recent, though.
Yeah, but you can't take those exceptions as gospel and then risk your franchise character in Batman again.
Yeah, again, the thing is, it's not just about box offices. You have to think about merchandising. That's where they make the money. And you're not going to be selling merchandise if the kids aren't going to go see it en masse. Like, I mean, is there any question, like, Iron Man or Spider-Man is selling way more merch than Batman has the past 8 years?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
Oh,
But
no
I know that R-rated movies always had merch back in the day. Like, you had Terminator toys and stuff all the time. Like, there was Terminator, there was,
Yeah, but still, you're not getting as much. You're not getting as much. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, I think you cut yourself out. I think it will be PG-13. It will stretch the PG-13. I mean, remember, historically the best Batman movies have done that. You have The Dark Knight that had to be edited a few times to get that PG-13 rating, and even the original Batman, 1989, did the same exact thing. It had to really cut down a lot because that was pretty close to a rated R from those times. So I think we're gonna get that style of a movie. It'll be bloody to a point. There'll be a little bit of swearing and there'll be deaths, but there won't be anything gruesome to get that R rating. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think it'll be bloody at all.
I just don't see what an R rating would add to Batman.
Well, that's what I'm just wondering when they say darker.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that could be a possibility just because there's been so much success with R-rated superhero movies.
I think I can see more moments in this movie where you're like, ooh, that looks like that hurts. That kind of thing. Those kind of moments I think is what they're going for.
Yeah, but I mean, again, when was the last Batman movie that came out? Are we counting BVS?
I mean, yeah, we are. I mean,
if you want to count Batman movie that has Batman in it, Justice League was after that.
No, Batman.
Yeah, I would say Batman versus Superman.
Batman versus Superman.
How many years ago is that? Like
4?
How many years ago was that? 5?
I don't even think it's that much.
2016? 2016.
Well, 2016 Justice League?
No, Justice League was like a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We're all Googling it right now.
2016.
2016. 2016. So I'm excited for this because of the director, and I know he works well with Andy Serkis, so that's awesome for me. I just don't know what the plan is for this.
2017. Not a year and a half ago.
It was the end of that year. It was like December.
So, still 2 years. Anyway.
All right.
What else
so
we got?
I'm still psyched for that. Lastly, on the news, we've got AMC rumored to be being, as I mentioned earlier, AMC is in trouble financially. Rumored to being bought by Amazon. That's interesting. Well, because
scary. But
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I actually wanted to tie this into what the first thing you talked about on this podcast, Jim.
Sure.
How you're like, oh, AMC do this. AMC can't do that because AMC doesn't own anything, like other than like the physical locations. They don't even own. They're renting, right? They have the equipment and stuff like that. They don't own franchises. They don't own properties. They don't own movies. They don't have contracts and shit. Like Amazon, they could because they could leverage their Amazon Prime content. And just think if that was the only way you could see some of that Amazon stuff is like, hey, it's going to debut in AMC theaters, like a week ahead of time or 2 weeks ahead of time.
Oh, for Prime?
Stuff like that.
Prime members? Yeah, there you go.
Imagine
there you
that.
go. Ooh,
Imagine
I think
that,
you just broke something there. Amazon Prime a week early.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like, you know who else could buy AMC? And I know we talk about them all the time. The House could easily, if they really wanted to, they could buy them out and be like, we're in the movie theater business now, boys, and just fucking, like, think about how much infrastructure they would have to just peddle all their Disney movies now.
Yeah. I mean, you can make the same argument for Apple. Apple's got the funds to buy like 800.
Apple has the money.
It's more about like, what does it add to the company? Like, how does that?
I think the best addition is Amazon. Like, I think that makes a ton of sense for them because then you can leverage Amazon Prime again for more because they want those subscription dollars.
All right. What if they just give you a free movie ticket every month?
But then in that respect, Apple's got their Apple Plus membership, their Apple TV.
Who gives a shit about Apple Plus?
I'm saying
I had
that
a year free. I know. I didn't even sign up for it.
I'm giving you the
I
exact
didn't
same.
sign up for it.
I know. I have a year. I haven't even watched any of it. I haven't watched a single thing.
Yeah,
on
no,
that.
I didn't even bother. Like, I was like, there's nothing on here that I care about, so I'm not even gonna bother.
It's terrible. I'm just saying that if you're a member of that, and that's why they want people to be members of that, you get discounts at movie theaters, at their movie theaters.
No, I agree. Like, any of these companies could, but like, I think for Amazon especially, like, it makes sense. It really does. And again, like I said, like,
what of all these big corporations, Amazon probably has the most gain from it. I'm just, my view is like, what is it that is going? What value add is that going to have for this company? Like for Apple, like I don't see a value add for Apple to do it.
Yeah, it is. I could see it for more.
Why did they buy Whole Foods?
Yeah, well, that's true. See, there's a perfect example of them doing it. Amazon.
You said Apple. Yeah, he said I want to be in the grocery market industry. It's like, okay.
But Amazon, I think, makes sense with what you're saying because they have their grocery store because they sell groceries. They have their, physical warehouses. They have physical stores sometimes. They have, they want those more subscription dollars from this. That would make sense.
Plus, I mean, their supply chain. Like, imagine the supply chain off of all their, the movie theater crap. Yeah. Look at the markup they would make off of like candy and fucking shit.
Oh yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It does make sense for them to do this. It does. So, and now they're vulnerable, AMC, so you might as well do it.
Oh, AMC is super vulnerable. Like, I actually, like, low-key feel bad about canceling my AMC membership, like, before they officially suspended it, because it was like, well, like, it was so awkward talking to the rep on the, I forget if I talked about it in the podcast, but they're like, so why do you want to cancel that? I was like, well, with the whole Corona thing, I don't think I'm going to be going to the movie theaters for the indefinite future. And they're like, we understand. And it's like a week later, they're like, yeah, we're just not charging people for a while. And I'm like, okay.
I did the same thing the week before too. I canceled mine, and I'm like, I was a little bit, oh man, I could have kept it and not paid anything. And I'm like, but what the hell are we seeing this year? What is coming out? Let's say everything gets back to normal. At best case scenario, September.
Black Widow, maybe.
Yeah. What is coming out this year? We're gonna go see. Is it worth $20 a month at that point to go see movies in the theater? When you might see one a month, it's still not worth it at that point.
But I do think it's scary just when you talk about like, I mean, what is it? It's AMC and Regal, right? Those are the two big ones. Is I missing something? Like maybe
Alamo.
Yeah. I don't know what those are.
There's a couple of
Mondo, I think, owns Alamo or whatever. The one of the guy that makes board games actually owns.
Really?
He has a board game division, like unmatched.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think that's gonna wrap up the movie cast. You can thanks for tuning in. You can write us podcast at allyoucangeek.net. You can follow us on Twitter, allyoucangeek, like us on Facebook. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. We appreciate it, guys. See you guys next week. Tune in to the Gamecast coming up. We got topics. Next week, deep dive on a franchise. We'll pick something. We're not sure yet what it is. Maybe the Matrix. Maybe the Matrix. I'm only teasing. Maybe. All right. See you guys then. Thanks.